If recent reports of the success recorded by Chadian troops against the Boko member are anything to go by, then it will be taken that the Chadian forces used a new approach that had never been used before. Codenamed Operation Bomaroth, Chadian troops were said to have launched an attack on the terrorist group following an attack on their military base on March 23rd by Boko people, in which 98 Chadian troops were killed. The revenge attack was adjudged a success because the Chadian troops killed many of the insurgents, destroyed 5 of their bases and many of their bunkers where its top commanders were hiding, and recovered thousands of weapons from them. Few of the surviving insurgents were said to have run to Nigerian terrorists to escape being killed. But if the Chadians had this offensive strategy against the Boko terrorists who have been taking refuge in their territories for several years, why are they unleashing it only now? The answer is not far-fetched. Chad did not use any new approach in military warfare. That it decided to come out against the insurgents now has more to do with the relationship between the Chadian president Idris Deby Itno and the insurgents. Long before now, Chad had been engulfed in internal crisis for many years, and many of its rebels frequently found themselves in northern Nigeria, driven by hunger but with guns and other weapons at their disposal. They wreaked havoc on several Nigerian communities, seized their food supplies, and extended their heinous criminal activities to highway robberies. They were known as Kwanta Kwanta due to the language they deployed in their operations. With the advent of the Boko, especially with the killing of Muhammad Yusuf, top commanders of the sect that were seeking revenge against the Nigerian state were mobbed in by the Chadian rebels, and in no time the latter surrendered to the command of the Boko Haram because it had more resources and an, an identifiable structure. Chad therefore became an important operational base on the terrorists with the knowledge of the Chadian government. The Chadian president had used these relationships to his advantage to demand financial support from Nigeria before, but the relationship between Boko members and Deby went sour in recent times, mainly because the Boko Haram were no longer economically useful since nobody was paying to have them kept at bay as was the practice during its early days, and secondly, they were becoming a nuisance to their host communities. The recent killings of the Chadian troops by Boko Haram broke the proverbial back of the camel, and the Chadian government had to turn its gun on the terrorists. The swift manner and exercise was carried out, however, raised the questions about the approach used, which saw the Chadian troops waking up one day to round up the terrorists in a singular attack. Some say this is because the attack was led by the Chadian president himself and would want Nigeria to emulate that. Those advancing this line of thought forget that about the same time that the Boko members attacked the Chadian troops, killing 98 of them, the theater commander of the Operation Fŕàūďūł, Major General Olusegun Adeniyi, was also ambushed by the insurgents and would have been killed if not for the deployment of the superior military strategy that gave the insurgents a bloody nose. It is recorded that the Boko members suffered so much in the attack that they abandoned a large cage of their weapons and fled. But days after the Nigerian soldiers had maneuvered the insurgents, routing them out in their numbers, only a little media attention was given to it, unlike the Chadian episode. The truth is, apart from needless propaganda, Nigeria has fared far better in military operation than the tiny African country, hence has nothing to learn from Chad. Even judging by the two incidents, it is clear which side gave a good account of itself as far as responding to attacks is concerned. While Chad was humiliated by the killing of 98 of its finest fighters, said to be the equivalent of its strike force, Nigeria lost only 2 soldiers in the ambush before reconnoitering to take on the insurgents and blowing them away. It is obvious that the Chadian military strategy and approach to counter-insurgency differs from that of Nigeria in many respects, and it would be a great disservice to Nigeria for anybody to suggest that Nigeria should adopt the Chadian approach in its fight against the insurgents. One, there is not even a clearly laid out strategy that has cast Chad as having an upper hand in the fight against insurgency. In the history of warfare, before any strategy could be said to be superior, it must have produced the same result over and over again. This is not the case with the Chadians, as what we have seen is a one-off tit-for-tat mission that managed to succeed. But the danger in playing the defensive or counter-offensive like Chad has done in an asymmetric warfare like the one involving Boko Haram is that the insurgents are allowed to make their pick of targets before they are replied. This could be counterintuitive, as the insurgents, while taking the time to plan and launch attacks, would not always assemble in a place waiting to be struck. Another thing is that allowing the terrorists to converge at a particular place before taking on them would be at a great cost to the civilian population along their camps, who would be made to bear the brunt of their sustenance and the mainly humiliations that come with it. The fact of the matter is that Nigeria is far ahead of Chad and other countries in the fight against insurgency. Nigeria has been the leader of many counter-insurgency operations across the continent, including the multinational Joint Task Force currently fighting the Boko Haram. The Nigerian Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Yusuf Brutai, has been leading the fight from the front since he was so appointed in June 2015. He has personally participated in drills and other military exercises with fighting troops, talked and interacted with them directly, and led operations in the theaters of war. His presence at many operations has served to inspire troops and boosted their confidence in the battlefield. Apart from that, the Chief of Army Staff has been able to win the war by adopting tactics and strategies that suit particular geographical locations, which he is quite familiar with. Troops' confidence has further been boosted with the keen interest he has shown in the improved welfare of soldiers and instilling in them a high sense of patriotism. Chad, on the other hand, has had a part with the insurgents, which went sour and were driven by rage of betrayal by an estranged accomplice. Nigeria, however, is driven by patriotism and need to save humanity from catastrophe and disorder. The two countries are not in the same category. Nigeria is doing well in the fight against insurgency and has nothing to learn from a one-off operation. Adeojo, a security analyst, wrote this article from Ibadan. You can imagine, this is a medicine after death. Of course, like it's been said, it's the Adeojo, a security analyst, wrote this article from Ibadan. I think they should clap for themselves that there is nothing to learn from a one-off operation, but they've done it. Whether you have been doing whatever, they are just trying to justify themselves, talking about Brutai, the same Brutai that came and sounding defeated, that it is not easy to do this. The same Brutai that was giving excuses that this Boko people cannot just be fought between 3 to 4 years or 10 years. It is not possible, that because their members have been indoctrinated fully. So it is not an easy thing, that people who are expecting this whole thing to end in 10 years, they are just joking. What are you talking about? The same man, that is where this analyst is telling us, this security analyst, Adeojo, telling us that Burutai has led this, has led that. Is that what we are talking about? Is Burutai and the Chadian presidents, are they the same? Are they holding the same position? We are talking about a leader that will give confidence to the people. You are talking of a Burutai, who is a chief of army staff, and you are talking about a president. What about your president? You did not mention your president. You are telling us that he has been giving, Burutai has been giving the soldiers, he has been boosting their morale. What are we talking about? They're just trying to downplay what they have done, that there's nothing to learn from what they have done, but they have done something that people are just trying to hype it. You can be deceiving yourselves. That is what I can just see. No matter what, if we're ready to do the right thing, then we'll get there. This is just a medicine after death, trying to praise themselves, trying to do this, try to water it down. Someone say the writer and the write-up do not portray the views of Nigerians and Nigeria. It must belong to corrupt group. Exactly. It does not portray the views of Nigerians. I think the writer should keep short. I know it's Yoruba that will write nonsense. Boy, to survive. If all nations were to fight wars the way you are fighting terrorists, in Nigeria, the war would have been empty. Momo writer, follow, zombie. Nigerians want results, not long sermon. Yes, so they don't want all this a long sermon. I think the writer is a government town crier. Nigerians are being killed daily and villages are sacked daily by these Boko people. And you are here talking what we don't understand. You can imagine. Debbie proved Nigerians that we are actually fighting BH, but our elites are making from the program. Shut up there, you are Chad. You and Chad, who is fraudulent, shameless people. Some story, saboteurs. What has your country been doing? How many strategies adopted yet? The daily stories is kill to repel, neutralize, yet Boko Haram get stronger. The only thing they will do, they will tell you they have repented, they will recruit them back, or they will tell you they want to send them abroad to go and school. That is what they are doing. They should continue to embarrass themselves. They are just embarrassing themselves. And just like once somebody said that the position of this writer does not reflect or portray what Nigerians and Nigeria stand for or they believe. They can as well be talking what they want to do, but we don't believe in all of those stories. All those are just stories. The same Burutai, like I said, he was praising. The same Burutai has come out to say, giving excuses why they could not win the war against these Boko people. And this man is telling us a different ballgame entirely. They are just contradicting themselves. So guys, let us hear your opinion concerning what this writer said, that why Nigeria does not need Debbie's fraudulent approach. Leave your comment below and let's have your take. Thank you.